Hello everyone, so in case you didn't know, this week is Fire Prevention Week from October 4th to October 10th. The theme for Fire Prevention Week this year is fire safety in the kitchen, so preventing fires and injuries that could occur in the kitchen. Learn more at fpw.org. So in this video I will be giving you 10 fire safety tips to help prevent fires from occurring in your home. Fire safety tip number 1 is to install smoke alarms on every level of your home, inside bedrooms and outside sleeping areas. Fire safety tip number 2 is to test smoke alarms monthly to make sure they are working and functioning properly in case of an emergency, and also replace the batteries at least once or twice a year. Generally, whenever we switch the clocks, you should be switching your smoke detector batteries. Here's fire safety tip number 3. Have a family fire escape plan and practice the plan at least twice a year. Also, make sure when developing your plan, you come up with at least one alternative route on each floor in case one area is not accessible. Fire safety tip number 4 is if there is a fire in your home, get out, dial 911, and don't go back inside. If you go back inside the building, fire spreads every few seconds, so it could be very dangerous and potentially deadly if you enter back inside the building. Once you're outside, stay outside until the fire department arrives on scene. Fire safety tip number 5 is to keep matches and lighters out of the reach of children. If a child handles a lighter or match, they could potentially start a really bad fire in the home or injure themselves or others, so just make sure to keep lighters and matches out of their sight. Fire safety tip number 6 is use flashlights during power outages, not candles. If you were to use candles inside the home during a power outage, the candle could either fall over or be near something that could be flammable. So make sure whenever you have a power outage, make sure to just use something that does not have an open flame. Fire safety tip number 7 is never leave a burning candle unattended. So make sure whenever you leave your house or you're not in the same room as a candle, make sure to always blow out the candle before leaving the room or the home. Fire safety tip number 8 is to turn off space heaters when you leave the room and don't leave them unattended. Space heaters could potentially be near something that is flammable and cause a really bad fire in the home or the building, so make sure whenever you leave the room, turn it off. Fire safety tip number 9 is to only use smoking materials outside, such as cigars or cigarettes. Never use them inside the home because they could catch your house on fire and it could be really bad, so make sure whenever you light a cigarette or cigar, it is being lit outside of the home. Fire safety tip number 10 is to keep flammable items away from anything that can get hot, such as space heaters. Another thing I also think about is a stove, which relates to this year's theme of fire safety in the kitchen. Make sure that any paper towels or anything that could be flammable is away from the stove when the stove is on. For more fire safety tips, visit www.nfpa.org/FPW. You should also keep a fire extinguisher in your home. The 3 areas that fires would most likely start are the garage, basement, and kitchen, so make sure that you have a fire extinguisher accessible for those 3 areas in case a fire were to start. When operating a fire extinguisher, you should refer to the PASS method. P stands for pull the pin, A stands for aim at the base, S stands for squeeze trigger, S stands for sweep. Also, make sure to replace your fire extinguishers every few years because fire extinguishers do become expired. So make sure you're constantly checking the pressure and replacing them every few years. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully you were able to learn something from this video about fire safety. This week would be a great week to explain to your kids and family plans on what you should do in an event of a fire emergency if one was to ever occur.